Everyone, welcome to 2 on 3D. If you're new here, please subscribe, and then you'll be able to get more contents like this. So I'm just going to dive straight into today's tutorial. So today we'll be covering, at least for the last episode, what we did cover was we started with part 1. We created a character, we went through, we made his mouth visms, we made the eyebrow for his facial expressions and stuff, and then finally in the last episode we made his hands. And now we're going to be rigging the character because we're done with Adobe Illustrator for now. Actually, we're done basically. You could come and fix certain things, but that's just it. We're basically going into Adobe Character Animator right now. So you open up Character Animator and then you have a blank page. Not in my own case, the project panel is filled with some stuff, and that's because I was actually working on something before then. So what I did was, what you do normally is you drag your .ai file or .photoshop file, that's .psd file, if you made your character in Photoshop. So in my own case, I did it with Adobe Illustrator, so I just drag it to the project panel. That's, you drag the .ai file, and I saved it with, I saved it with Kevin.ai. So Kevin.ai, what I did here was start a new project completely, just so that everything is blank, so that you understand what I'm doing. The first thing I normally do is create a scene. So you can name this the scene whatever you want, but in my own case I left it as scene 1 because it's just one scene I'm going to be creating. And then now is where I went to my file, and then I dragged my .ai file into my project panel. Okay, I don't know why it's delaying. Okay, for some reason it did not upload, so I think I'm going to redo it again. So all you do is drag and drop, boom, and then we have it in our project panel. And then from there you drag it to your timeline, and then now we start the work. And you could adjust the scene or just add in a camera. Adding a camera is the best way to do it. You put in a camera just so that you can adjust it without necessarily moving the character itself. So after you drag the character, you drag it below the camera. It could be above, but I like working with it below the camera, so the camera is above. The camera will be sitting above. So now we adjust the scene using the camera instead of dragging. Initially, the old version of Adobe Illustrator did not have this camera, so Adobe Character Animator did not have this camera, so you had to manually use transform tool to move your characters around and stuff like that. But since we have this, you can just zoom in and whatever. Initially you had to scale your character up, which was not really good. So now we start with the rigging, and in most cases whenever I'm rigging my character, I always start with the face. And what I do is I drag all the cycles that I've created. Like in this case, I'm starting with the eyebrow, so I drag the eyebrow, the entire thing, and created a swap set. And after creating a swap set, I end up latching it, because if you do not latch it, you have to press and hold, and that is not what I want. I want to just press and leave it, and then press it again when I want it to reverse. So right now it's not latched, that is why it's like this. So eventually I will select everything and latch them. But what I'm doing currently is, what I actually did was configure each trigger to a key on my keyboard, and I used 1 2 3 4 5. I believe I used the number key at the top of my keyboard. So now I just created a cycle layer behavior for every single layer under the eyebrow that was cycle layer. If you remember from the initial tutorial that we did the eyebrow, we made them a 2 cycle layered we made each of the layer 2 cycles. so it means that it moves from 1 to 2 before it moves to the final position. So it moves from 1 to the final position, and that is why you have to add a cycle behavior to it, cycle layer behavior to it. If not, you have to, if not, the whole thing would be displaying, and that is not what we are going for. So now we do the same thing with the this is the iris. So I'm just going to add a draggable to the iris, and that's basically it. Not basically it actually, because you still have to what I do is, it's not visible, very visible, where you go to the character at the top there, and then you select it, and then you select create mask. So you mask it, and I've not done that yet. Yes, I have just done that. So you mask it to the eyes below, so that it's within that eyes. So now we drag the eyes to and create a swap set with it, and then you make sure you latch everything. So you select everything and you latch it, and then we have the default. And then now we have, in this case, we only have, aside from the blink, all the other triggers in the eyes are just one layer, so you do not have to add a cycle layer behavior to it. So that's what I did. You just drag and place, and then just the eyebrow, it's the eyebrow that you're supposed to add a cycle layer behavior to it, because it's in twos. So let's take note of that. So now I'm assigning each trigger to a key on my keyboard, so that I can manually I could just click a button, and it animates a particular part that I wanted to animate. It's just basically the same thing with the one above, so just take note. And then this is the cycle behavior for the blink that I'm working on currently. So let's just hide that, and then do the mouth. The mouth is fine, because that's Vism, and we named them appropriately. Make sure you name those appropriately. The R, the E, the E, O, U, all those Visms, make sure you name them appropriately, so that when you are doing lip sync, you will not have any complications, and everything will just be going on smoothly. So now this is a particular thing somebody asked me about in the comment section, about how I make my jaws to move when the character is talking. So this is what I do normally. I create a fix, make the top fix, drag a jaw and put that, and make sure you tag that to the jaw, and then now when the character is talking, the jaw will move with the character. So it's cool that way. When I was doing the South Park kind of characters, I had to make the entire face a jaw, so that it bobs, because it's the entire head that bobs when the characters are talking. So you just take note of that too. Now I'm going to just the head and the neck, you put them together. You make those make a tag for the head and the neck together, and then you make a draggable there, so that you can drag the character around using the neck like that. And then now we come to I believe now this is the body, so we're just going to add in, just so that the character can walk. If you do not do this, the character will not be able to walk. So you make sure you select the body and the entire body with the legs and everything in it. So you select it, and then you tag it to the hip, to the waist, and just those tag around there. Just follow what I'm doing on the screen. So you could add a draggable at that point, that the hip point, so that you could manipulate the character. Even though you are manipulating the neck, you could also manipulate the waist for the character to have a better movement. So you could do that too. And then the leg, I made both independent, because yes, of course, they are going to be independent and moving. So of course, and then you make them hinge. You can make them weld, but hinge is well appropriate for this. And then parts that you think might be going off, what I do is add a pin to those parts, so that those parts are stationary in one place, so that they do not move as much. And then now we do the same thing for the other leg, and then eventually what we'll have to do now is add all those tags, like the knee, the ankle, and then the toes, and all those things. Now you select those and you add them, and you make sure you are placing them in the appropriate positioning. Like this is, I'm working on the left leg, so you have to do the right leg, and you make sure that you are putting the tag of the right leg where the right leg is supposed to be. Else, when you come to make the character walk, the character will be walking very strangely. So just take note of that also. So you could just rely on this alone, but in my own case this character is a bit more realistic. It's not a rubber hose kind of character, it's not a very cartoony character with rubber hose kind of legs. So I normally add sticks in between, just like to make like a bone kind of thing. So you add sticks from his waist to his knee, and then from his knee to his ankle. So you just do that, and your character will be moving. The movement will be a bit more realistic, kind of. Alternatively, you could leave it like that. Just experiment, just check around, do whatever you want to do. Like try this one and try the other one, and just that's how you learn. It's through errors and stuff like that. So you could try that one and see if it works for your character. If it doesn't, then you make sure you add those bones, and those bones will help. Then I'm adding the draggable to the knee because I also like manipulating the knee, especially when the character is talking and stuff like that. These are stuff that will make your character very believable as a cartoon kind of. So some of those behaviors, you cannot just be moving just the neck like that. Sometimes, like when he wants to say when he's getting angry or something like that, normally you make the knee to bend a bit, and he's like bent towards the character is angry at. So you just add draggables for that, so that you could do that. Alternatively, you could do that using cycles. That is, if you want to go to the rigor or the stress of like creating those movement manually, drawing them manually, then it's fine. But this is the better way, an easier way of doing it. Just put a draggable and drag that part and manipulate it whichever way you want. And so now I'm just testing the characters to see how everything is panning out. So so far I know that the character, there are some things that I've not worked on, so I already know, but I'm just trying it just to see. Like the eyebrow is reversed, it's in reverse, so I know that okay, something is going on there, something is wrong with the eyebrow. So sometimes you just need to when you think you are done, just go out. Deep inside you know that you're not done with the character, but just go out and test some things out, and you'll be able to tell what is missing or what is wrong with the character, and then you know what to go and fix. So in this case the eyebrow is messed up, so I'm definitely fixing that. The eyes are fine, so I believe the issue is with the cycle layers behavior. So I know okay, now you see I'm manipulating the character, and you see the leg is going off, is going out, going up and down, and that is not how this character is supposed to be made, or how this character is supposed to behave. So that's another thing I have to fix. So now I know two things I'm going to the rig panel to go and fix. One is the eyebrow, so I'm just going to go select the eyebrow, at least all the eyebrows I've created, and then check the cycle layers behavior and see what is wrong with it. And I believe the problem will be from the replay, but well, maybe when we get there we'll know for sure. So one of the things I actually do just to make sure the body is this, I made the character and the right, that's the sub character under the character, I made those independent, so you could try that. I don't think that worked because the issue is, I think the issue is based on this, but just learned from my own mistake. So eventually I ended up fixing it, but that's eventually. So now you can see it's from bottom to top that is wrong. The eyebrow is not supposed to move from bottom to top, so you just move it from top to bottom, and that's how I arranged it. That is why it's like that. So you could also alternatively in the Adobe Illustrator, you could arrange it from top to bottom, from bottom to top, or whatever you want, but just make sure you set it appropriately when you come to the rig, to the rigging part. So when you come to the cycle layers, make sure you remember that and fix that part, so your character doesn't break or doesn't look the way it was just now. So now I'm just trying it, and I think the first thing I'm going to try is the neck, just to see how it works. Okay, the problem still persists, so you know that I still have that to fix. But now let's try the eyebrow and see if that is still messed up. I know that is definitely not messed up because that has fixed the issue. So I'm just going to try it and see. Okay, yes, everything is fine. As you can see, the cycles is going through the cycles fine, so you know that has been fixed. So we still have one more thing to fix, and we've not even started working on the hands. And initially I was not going to do that, but I ended up going against that previous advice and just decided to go on with it because my hands are created a bit more complex than usual. I would not recommend you start with this style, except you understand how cycle layers work very well. Then I would say, okay, you should go with this one. But I would say you should stick with the conventional method until I get this tutorial out. I want to actually make a tutorial of how I make hands that make the work extremely easy for me, especially when I come to like fix characters and fix some poses and stuff like that. So this makes it extremely easy for me to do. So that's how I actually made this character hand. When I was working on it, that was what I had in mind. So this is actually something that I just started doing recently. So mostly what you need to understand with hand cycle triggers is you draw every single frame and then you repeat it for every single movement. So that's what you're supposed to do. But in my own case, I only draw the last pose. I only draw the last pose and then I have an in between somewhere. So I don't want to complicate this tutorial, so I'm just going to leave that at that. So now you see it's still misbehaving, so it means I've not fixed the issue. And I'm just going to try different things and just be watching the screen so that you will see what eventually worked. And if you did not get it, maybe you take the video back a little and then you check it again. So I went back to I made everything independent again. So select the right, and then now I know the issue is that so many independent layers are there. That is the reason why it's a bit those parts are moving too much. So one easy way to fix this is just to add in a walk behavior, and that is what this character doesn't have yet. That is why the walk behavior comes with a pin, especially for the legs. So it will pin the legs to the ground. So I think that is even how I fixed it at the end of the day, because just adding this character was supposed to walk, so adding a stick across and then making it fixed would not be the best method for this, because you want this character to walk. So that is the best way to do it. You just add a walk behavior, boom, you've killed two birds with one stone, because now the character can walk and the character's leg is pinned to the ground. So now I just went on and started working on the hands straight up. I don't know why exactly, maybe I forgot, but eventually when I go back to the what's it called, the panel, the animation panel, so whenever I go back there, normally I test some things out, and then eventually I've now realized, oh, I forgot this. So I believe I forgot. I'm actually recording this after recording the video, so sometimes I actually don't know what I even did. I'm just explaining what I'm doing currently, at least what I'm watching myself do on my screen right now. So just bear with me, but I believe I did fix it. And even if I did not, just follow what I told you. What you need to do is select the character, and the entire character, the character itself. So you select it and then you add a walk behavior. That will fix the issue. So now what I did was drag all the hands, and then drag all the hands, make a swap set, with all the hands in it. That's with the default hand, with the hand for all those actions, like I don't know, like angry, like all those hand movement and stuff like that. And then now all you need to know, do not worry about what you're seeing on the screen. All you need to know is you select you drag it, and those are cycles already. Those are supposed to be they're supposed to be in layers. So you add a cycle behavior to it, and then you apportion keys, or you configure keys to those hand movements. So that's all you need to know. What I'm doing on the screen is a bit complex, at least maybe for somebody who is starting out, but all you just need to know is cycle. Whenever you're adding a cycle behavior, especially for your hands, when you're moving the hands and stuff, when you want the hands to move, or you want him to hold something or do whatever thing you want with the hand, you drag the entire catalog, that's the entire hand, you drag it and you create a swap set with it. After creating a swap set, you make sure you still select them, every single hand, especially all the ones that are cycle behaviors that are supposed to play a particular layers of hands to get a particular gesture. You select everything, and then you add a cycle layers behavior to it. And then what I do is I make the steps 2, because that is how animating in 2s work, and it makes the animation a bit slower, so it makes the movement a bit slower and more realistic. You add 2, and then you make sure you add a reverse, and then hold at last. When you hold at last, so the last behavior is the final behavior, so it stops at the last behavior, and then the reverse, when you press the button again, it reverses that whole hand movement for you. So that is basically all you need to know about hand rigging. I still went on and on and on, and I worked on the hand for a while. I think because my own hand is a bit unique, but that is all you need to know. You drag. I'm re-emphasizing it because I know how that might be a bit complex for somebody who is just starting out. But all you just need to know is, since we've created the hands in layers in one of our tutorials, I think in the third or in this, oh no, in the last tutorial, just the last tutorial, in the fourth tutorial, the fourth part of this tutorial series, we've created hands, and we created them in cycle layers. And in as much as we did not create the hand from scratch, but you do understand that every single hand behavior had layers in them, and those are the layers that you apply cycle layers to, so that whenever you click a button or you activate that trigger, it will go through that cycle behavior, it will go through that layer, and then it will hold at the last, and then you can reverse it. So just understand that. So now you see, whenever I tap that button, it will play the entire sequence in between. It will play the in between, and then the final pose, it will hold on the final pose, and then when I press it again, it reverses the behavior. So just take note of that. That's basically what you need to understand with these characters. So we still have that issue, the leg issue, but you know how to fix it. So even if I do not fix it in this tutorial, you already know how to fix it. Just add a walk behavior, and that will solve itself. Okay, so I finished working on the first arm, the first hand, and then I worked on the second hand. Okay, I believe if I select the character, the main character, that is what I'm about to do. I think that's where I added the walk behavior. Okay, I did not do that. Just note that that is what you're supposed to do. Okay, so yes, that's exactly what I'm about to do now. You add a walk behavior. As you note, if you notice, there's no walk behavior to this character, so that is what I added. And then there are some settings that you could adjust. In my own case, I don't like using strength of 100. That doesn't make it, that makes no sense. It will make the character's walk to be very unnatural. So what I do is I reduce it to 75, or in some cases I take it up to 80, but 75 is fine. So you make it 75, and then you make it to move when you press a particular button. And in this case, it's always front or back. That's the left arrow key and the right arrow key. Those are what the only keys that you could use for walk behavior. So I'm about to test the character. So if you just drag the neck now, you see it's stationary, so the legs are fine now. It's working perfectly. So the reason why you are seeing the in between is just an issue of my computer right now. My computer is slow, that's why you're seeing that in between, but it's not supposed to be there. And even if you just go on and record and do whatever you want to do, when you come to when you come to export, it will export it perfectly, because it understands what frame it needs to export at a particular time. So that will be fine. The hands are not moving because I did not rig the hands, so I did not put all those tags to the hand, like the elbow, the wrist, and the shoulders. That's why the hands are not moving, but you could go in and do that for your default hand. So everything is working basically fine. This character is basically done. So in as much as the video will keep playing, this is all I have. This rounds up our whole tutorial on how to make characters from A to Z, and we'll be trying some other characters, some maybe special characters in the future tutorial about this kind of like creating characters from A to Z or something like that. Maybe we'll try a different character. We got a suggestion to make a Muslim female character, so maybe we'll do that next. But for now, we are done with basically it. If you followed, thank you. If you followed all our tutorials, thank you very much. We really appreciate the support. Please give us a like. It will really help us reach more and more people, and it will help us keep this channel running. Give us a subscribe. It will really help us, and it will also help you to keep up with our latest videos and uploads in the future. So thank you very much, and bye for now.